Welcome back. When we are in the midst of difficult situations, it is often hard to see the blessings that are hidden within. When we are deeply suffering, the only thing that we can focus on is what is negative. We focus on our own pain and the pain that our life situation is causing us. And only in retrospect can we often look back and say, wow, that situation shaped me in a way that I could have never imagined. And this is one of the harsh truths about life, is that without those difficult experiences, without those dark times, there would be no appreciation for what is good. In fact, those bad times are what make the good times even better. And without the bad times, the good times just wouldn't mean the same thing. And we want so heavily to avoid all that is negative in the world, because we are designed that way. We are designed to avoid pain and run to pleasure. But so long as what is negative has its grip on you, one can never escape it. And so no matter how hard we try and run away, it's always right there with us like a shadow. And it's not until we face it, and it's not until we shine the light of our awareness upon it, will it ever go away. But what we do sometimes to avoid facing the darkness is that we try and just get on with our lives. We try and, in a way, ignore it and pretend it's not there, and busy ourselves in the world with daily tasks and goals. But all along the way, it's like there's this great weight pulling us down. And so no matter what we do, no matter what we accomplish, it's almost pointless, because we will have so much inner conflict that we will not be able to enjoy any of the experiences. We won't be able to be there for the ones that we love, because we will have lost the ability to be present. But once we face the difficult things that have happened to us, that is when we find true liberation and freedom. Because that weight that was holding us down can now be let go of. We don't have to carry it any longer. And that comes with great relief. And without that great burden, we can enjoy the moment. And we can enjoy any experience, no matter how great or how small. Because in the moment is where life is happening. And so if you cannot be present, you cannot live. We get caught in survival and struggling and striving for things because we are trapped in the mind, the past and the future. Some people think that the good old days are behind them. Some people are looking towards a better future, never realizing that every moment is the best moment. Every day is the best day. And that if we spend our whole lives trying to reach these great goals, then when we finally achieve them, we won't be able to enjoy them, because we have programmed ourselves to seek happiness in the future and not in the moment. We may get glimpses of happiness throughout this journey, but it is like a hamster wheel. You just keep going and going and going, always to the next thing, always to the next source of happiness or dopamine, and then maybe even once in a while we can get some peace. The bad news is that is a never-ending journey, and there is no conclusion. There is no pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. But the good news is that joy and peace and love can be found here and now. Not only this, but it is always here, and it can never be separated from you. So happiness is always here waiting for you. But you see, we have so many attachments, so much trauma and conditioning, that all of this noise keeps us from the natural joy of being. All the experiences that we have that make us feel happy, that we believe make us feel happy or peaceful, are nothing but temporary lapses in mind activity. In these moments where the mind can just shut off, that is when we are most joyful and most at peace. But these great feelings are always there. A long time ago I realized that you can be a billionaire in a penthouse and want to kill yourself. And you could be a starving child in India and be absolutely elated at the sight of a piece of bread. And that no amount of material success in the world equates to happiness. It is only very difficult to be happy when you are poor or in scarcity, because your mind is filled so heavily with these strong desires. If you are hungry, you don't just want food, you need it. Being thirsty is not even a desire, it's a necessity. If you hold your breath, you don't want air, you just have to have it. And so it is those who have strong desires for the world who do not have time for God. If somebody is struggling with money, they do not have time for peace. They are preoccupied. If somebody is dealing with difficult relationships, they do not have time for happiness. They are too busy with conflict. And so you can see how we get so caught in these stories. We get so lost in our own identities that cause us to focus on negativity. This negativity that drains us of all peace and joy and love. And pride will keep one stuck in the state of negativity forever. They will never see that their life is 100% in their control, because life is happening from you. It is happening through your body and through your mind. And you have the choice to direct it wherever it is you want. Let's use an example from my own life. There have been days where I was so broke that I didn't know how I was going to eat that day. If you are able to take control of your attention and rather than focus it on the supposedly negative situation, and you only keep it focused on what is good and what is positive, with the attitude that it doesn't matter what life seems to be happening right now, everything always works out for my highest benefit. All the time, without fail. Everything always works out. Everything always comes to me when I need it. What happens is that we believe this into existence. Not a single one of my prayers ever goes unanswered. But the reason that is not true for most people is because they choose to resonate with the negativity. They fester in the conflict and the negative emotions and the anger and the irritation. And that keeps you stuck, and that cuts you off from your blessings. Because life is the blessing. And when you are sending your life to nothingness, to negativity, you are cut off from life. And where life is not, death is. And so the more you are cut off from life, the more death will manifest in your reality, and you will experience hell and all the suffering that comes along with it. And that everlasting life that is heaven, the more we take control over this life force and direct it to thoughts, to words, to behaviors that create more life in directions that are positive, that is how we begin experiencing heaven on earth. And so it is important to train ourselves to manage our focus and attention so that when we do go through these dark nights, through these difficult experiences, no matter what happens in life, we can always see how this situation is the exact thing that we need for our highest growth. And this is not deluding ourselves, quite the opposite. This is seeing clearly. And when we are so caught up in negativity, that is getting caught in illusion. You see, but if you are so heavily conditioned to believe your current story is the absolute truth, that this life situation that we are currently in this is the way things are. People call it the real world, reality. If you allow your belief to be stuck in this current reality, this current life situation, then you will remain a slave to it forever, because you will give your power to forces outside of your control that will continually steal your energy. They will steal your life. Because the more negativity you experience, the more suffering it creates, the more you desire to be away from suffering. And so all of your attention is being siphoned to the negative situation. Because we have developed a vested interest in it. We have created an identity around it. I am this person struggling with this life situation. And I am this person struggling to get out of this situation, or not. You can see how almost impossible it is to see things from any other way. This is the fundamental essence of themes like The Matrix, or the Flat Earth, or The Truman Show. Because if you are Truman, you believe everything is exactly the way it is, never realizing that the whole thing is a construct and that we are living in a complete illusion. It is not the world that is an illusion. It is our interpretation of it. Because I can have nothing, no money, no food, and be completely unfazed, be completely at ease, be completely at peace and in joy. Because all the riches are already inside you. That is why Christ said, "Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and everything else will be added onto you." If you allow your focus to be directed towards negativity, you will create a negative life. Because your life force, your very essence, will be ripped away from you, slowly, day by day, and death will take its place. And this creates tragedy and suffering. And yet the moment you begin taking control over this life power, even through the darkest of situations, you remain steadfast, focused on God, focused on what is good, then many of your problems simply go away. Things start to work themselves out by themselves. Because life is always taking care of life. This is the force of harmony. So the more life we have, the more harmonious our life is. And the deeper we go, the more heavenly our life will become.